Oh, good. So, Dan, welcome to the Dan Stevens podcast.
That's a good start anyway. She doesn't know the name of the podcast. That's great.
No, I do. It's called...
Are we recording here? We are recording. So what's the name of this podcast? This is Taran O'Sullivan, by the way. Thanks for being here, Taran.
You're welcome. Tell me the name of the podcast.
This is actually a good question because it goes into the intro anyway.
Yeah.
This is The Truth Is In There podcast. Welcome along, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dan Stevens, the host, and
I'm Taran O'Sullivan, the guest.
The guest on The Truth Is In There podcast. Yeah.
His latest victim. He found me out on the road.
I did indeed.
I was trying to find super value.
Yeah. Yeah, Taran, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
Really appreciate it.
I'm very excited. And I'm excited to tell you this story that I hope I've never told you before.
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, she briefly mentioned this is the storytelling season. Taran's going to tell us a story today.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say I'm extra appreciative of you being here because she works on the radio, talks a lot during the day. And she's also a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
A very good stand-up comedian.
And the prettiest girl in Dublin.
Prettiest girl in Dublin.
It's amazing, isn't it?
She has the whole package, really.
And no man. It's mad.
No man.
It's bonkers.
No man.
Crazy.
No man and you famous.
Okay. Do you want to hear my story?
Straight into it. This has never happened before. Usually I have to lead in. But Taran...
Straight in, no kissing.
Taran does not mess around.
No. Okay, so when I was in Australia, you've been, didn't you?
I was in Australia from January 2011 until October 2012.
Okay. So 9 months, 10 months, is it?
A year and 9 months.
Oh, sorry, I'm stupid. So did you do your farm work?
I tried to. Mm-hmm. I went to Bundaberg, which is in northern Queensland.
Yeah.
And I was picking tomatoes and staying in a hostel.
So tomatoes come off a tree or do they grow in the
bushes?
Ground? Bushes.
Yeah, and they bring it along in it's like a, you know the things that people get brought up the stairs in, like elderly people?
Yeah.
Like one of them, and you just get put through the bushes. And
a cherry picker, is that what it is? No,
a cherry picker goes up to the ceiling when you're doing...
Okay.
If you know, as an electrician, I'd be like doing high bay light fittings or something. You'd be on a cherry picker. Cool. This was it's a specialised thing.
Yeah.
Where you just have to. It brings you along the tomato bushes, and you bring them in as quickly as possible.
And you have to work really fast.
Oh yeah, and you're getting screamed at by Nepalese fellas.
Yeah, and people are really like. I used to get shouted at like, "Hurry up, you dirty backpacker! Like, work harder."
Yeah, it's slavery.
It's really tough work.
It is.
So when I went to do mine, I'd been in Australia maybe, I'd been there like 7-8 months. So like I didn't leave a whole lot of time. So I went first to Coffs Harbour, which was a blueberry picking farm.
I visited there myself.
Did you?
Yeah, but it was for leisure, not farming.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
Really nice.
It's a surfing place, right?
Yeah, and did you surf?
No.
Okay. So I went to Coffs Harbour first and I was staying in a hostel and like it was just bonkers. Like I was like, I can't do this because it was like 12 people in a room.
Now, this would be a bit more recent, would it? When was this?
2017, 2018.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, God, this is really tough. But then I met like a little boyfriend. And he worked...
How little?
No, as in, like a little, like, it was just a bit of fun.
Like a holiday romance?
Yeah, and he worked in the bar that was part of the hostel.
Okay.
But he was English, so he lived there. I can't remember what his story was properly. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
And so in the morning time, whenever they wanted new workers, you had to call at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So so I'd been there for like 2 weeks, and it could go weeks until they open the phone lines or whatever it is to call, and then you get a place. So I'd been there like definitely over 2 weeks, like, and you're just wasting your time. And then at 7:30, we got a text or whatever, an email to be like, okay, it's open, call, put your name down to start the job. But I was in bed with my little boyfriend.
Oh, bunk bed?
No, double bed. So I missed the call and I was like, no. I was like, I've been here for 2 weeks now for no reason, you fool.
Oh, God.
So I was like, what am I going to do? And then this other English guy had just arrived and he wasn't far enough up the list. There's like a list to even get to call. So he was
Now, when you say, sorry, you get the call, I might miss this a second ago. You're getting called to be on the roster to work on the farm.
On the blueberry farm. Yeah.
Yeah, you get put on a list.
You got put on a list.
There's like a blackboard in the hostel, right? Well, in my one, it was like that.
So mine was similar. Like you were on a list, and then once their list
you check it then, and you're like, "Am I working today?"
Yeah, it's really confusing.
It's really,
crazy. But I missed it, and then they were like, "Right, it's going to be another 6 weeks before we're taking on new workers."
Oh, God! Like, so you missed the registration, basically.
Yeah, so I was like, "I've missed it. Like, there's nothing I can do." So the English guy that had just come, can't remember his name.
Where was your little boyfriend from?
My little boyfriend was from like somewhere in England. I can't remember his name or anything. Isn't that so funny?
Yeah, MLB, my little boyfriend.
My little boyfriend. He was sweet. And then, so the guy that I met, the English guy, he hadn't got on the list. He was like, well, I can't hang around for that amount of time. I was like, neither can I. So he was like, oh, I've seen there's jobs going in Byron Bay. So like that's like one of the coolest parts of Australia.
I visited there as well.
Oh, right.
Really
well travelled, aren't you?
Very well travelled.
Such a cool place. So I was like, right, packed up our little bags.
A very laid back place.
Very laid back.
Isn't it? And a lot of the old wacky backy. I don't know if I can say that.
No, probably not.
Backy.
But as soon as you enter Byron Bay, take off your bra, Dan.
Really?
You don't need it. Like, they don't wear bras there. You can't. I was there for 2.5 months and I run out of foundation. You couldn't buy foundation there. Like an Irish woman cannot live without. So foundation is what we put. Do you know what it is? On her face.
You have buildings on it.
No.
Cement.
Makeup, like the makeup that we put on.
Joking,
And there's none because they don't wear makeup. Bras, socks. You go into the supermarket, you don't wear shoes or anything. Like, it's the coolest place.
Yeah.
So I was there working at a macadamia farm with the guy that I'd met, but nothing ever happened.
So is this after you missed the registration?
Yes, I've said bye to my little boyfriend.
Okay.
Bye, little boyfriend. Yeah.
You're still in bed?
No, it was like a week or so later before we moved on. So then was in Byron Bay with Nick.
That must have been tough. It sounds like you really had it, like, you know, the fact that you can remember his name and everything.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah. I'd say it was a nice name anyway.
I don't think he was interested in me at all. I'd say he had different tourists every week. Do you know that kind of way?
Oh, right.
I don't think he wouldn't know my name either.
May I ask how you met him? In the bar? He
gave me his number in the bar.
He'd be at that the whole time, I'd say.
It was like a flawless.
Yeah.
Well, he was very good looking, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
So then I was in Byron Bay with the new Englishman that I'd met. And it turned out then I was obviously quite good looking at this phase of my life because the new Englishman had feelings for me too. But I got the ick from him. You know when someone likes you and you don't like them? Like, he really, really gave me the ick.
The ick?
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know what to do. And
was it a particular, was he...
Very touchy-feely, and I just wasn't able for that. And we bought a car together at this stage, but I can't drive. So this is a very important part of the story. I cannot drive. So we bought the car together that he was going to drive, because the macadamia farm we were working on was half an hour outside of Byron Bay where we were living.
Yeah.
So we had to be in there at 7:30 every morning. So 7 o'clock we'd go to the farm. Anyway, so when he realised that I wasn't going to get with him, he drove off in the car. Like, he literally, we'd been there for maybe 6 weeks, and I had never led him to believe we'd never kissed, nothing had ever happened. I'd never led him to believe that anything was going to happen. And then when he realised that it wasn't, he was like, all right, well, see you later. And then text me like a week later, it was like, you owe me for tyres. I was like, you've left me here on my own.
How did he do that? Did he just sneak off in the...
He was just like, I'm leaving, I'm going to another farm. He went to Boona then to a different farm.
So he was in a hostel again?
No, we were actually living separately. So I was living with this Australian guy and a lovely girl from Chile. And he was living in a different house. So like, he just packed up and left. So it was half an hour to work.
And you had invested in that car as well? You said half?
I think, did he give me my money back for the car? I can't remember. There was something, we evened out the car, but then it was that he messaged me then later for money for the tyres. So I was like, right. So he went, and then I probably had about 30 or 40 days left to do, because as soon as you break up the days, even though I've been at the farm work for months at this stage, as soon as you break up the days, it goes day by day.
Yeah.
So I had so much left to do.
You have to do 90.
88 days it was when I went.
88 days, and then what happens then is, just to explain to the viewers and listeners, you get your first year visa. Yeah, that's fine. But in order to get your
the mic's attacking me.
In order to get your second year, you have to complete 88 days of work. It doesn't specify farm work.
No, it
says work that will benefit the country of Australia.
So you can go and work in a farm, not in a farm, in a pub in the middle of nowhere.
That's right. That's what I actually did.
Yeah.
In the end. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, this is not about me.
It's not.
This is about. So you were saying just there that you had a lot of days left.
So I had a lot of days left
to fulfill and get your second year. You wanted to stay for the second year.
But I'd done well in the farm base. So I'd moved up from picking the macadamia nuts off a line. I'd moved up to working in the lab. So I was weighing the nuts.
Right.
Yeah. Which I was incredible at. So I knew exactly what I was at. And so I was weighing the nuts. So I still had...
I remember that being... That's a privileged job.
Yeah, so privileged.
You're out off the field.
I had a lab coat. I had a real job.
How did you score that one?
I don't know. I think there was just no one else. And maybe I had little hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I going to get... So he was gone. I can't drive. So it's half an hour from Byron Bay into the middle of nowhere. So obviously there's no public transport. But time is ticking, so I don't have the time to go to a new farm and start somewhere completely new.
How many days had you got done in total at this stage, do you think? Maybe 1/3 or something like that?
No, I'd say I had 50 days done, something like that.
So you had to do another 6 weeks or something like that?
6 weeks, it was a lot. So I was like, right, think outside the box. So what I did was I put an ad in Gumtree.
That was the big thing at the time?
Yeah.
Gumtree.com.au. Shout out
to them. So I put an ad in Gumtree being like, backpacker from Ireland looking for a driver to drive me to and from such and such farm, will pay. Because at that stage, even if I had to pay most of what I was making, it was worth it to get the days.
Yeah.
That made sense.
Of course.
We were actually being
You would have made it back in your second year.
Yeah.
Easy.
We were being paid really well on this farm. So I think I was on like $27 an hour.
You weren't getting paid peanuts, no?
No. Oh, good one. So the way it worked out was like, even if I pay them $60 there, $60 back.
Yeah.
Still, it sounds crazy now, but it still made sense to get the visa for the second year. So put the ad in Gumtree and a couple of people replied. And I was like, this is completely fine. Because Australia is much safer than here is. Like a lot of the houses I lived in Australia, you didn't lock your door.
Yeah.
Women walked home safe at night. You always felt safe on the bus. It was just a completely different experience, especially being a woman. So then I got this phone call and it was someone being like, oh, hiya. I'm going to do the Australian accent. He was like, hiya. Oh, I saw your ad in Gumtree. And I was like, all right, cool. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm just wondering how much you're willing to pay.
Okay, now don't tell me it was the little boyfriend.
No.
Okay.
So he was like, I'm just wondering. And I was like, so it's this many miles from here to there. Obviously, I knew the detail at the time. And he was like, right. And he was like, what's your situation? And he was like, are you single? And I was like,
what the hell?
I was like, oh, yeah. And I just thought he meant, as in, is it just you?
Huh.
So then the questions went on. And he was like, and what do you look like?
For God's sake.
And I was
is this on the phone?
This is on the phone.
He's talking to
and I was like,
did you know anything about him at this point?
No. He
Didn't
just
know if
answered
he was young or old.
No, he just answered the Gumtree ad.
Oh my
and
God.
I was like, oh, right, okay. I still because Australia was so safe. If it happened here, your guard would be up straight away. But there I was like, no, it's fine. And he was like, oh yeah, what do you look like? And I was like, well, I'm blonde, I'm 5'7", thin, because I was at the time.
You still are. You still look great, by the way.
And he was like, all right, well, what about fun favours?
What?
Fun favours. And that's your reaction was mine.
Fun favours.
Fun favours.
Fun favours. Wow.
And I was like, what? And he said it again. He said, fun favours. And I was like, like, and I never, like, the time stood still, and I was just like, oh my God, and like just hung up the phone, blocked him. Like, it scared the bejesus out of me.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it was like, yeah. What about fan favours?
What about fun favours?
Oh, but it was like he had a 3-step thing going on there.
Yeah.
The first one was like, what do you look like? And if you go along with that, then he's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then he's like, are you single?
Are you single?
That was the second question.
Are you single was first. What do you look
so
like?
So he's testing the waters there. Not that I know what a fella like that thinks, like, I'm just saying.
Fun favours.
He kind of...
I think on the day of my death, when I'm going into my coffin, I'll just remember I'll be like, fun favours.
Yeah. Oh, like, my God.
It was so scary. And I didn't know what to do. And I was like, but the situation was still, I had to get to work.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? So I didn't take down the ad.
Okay.
Blocked.
How many calls did you get for the ad? Because that time it was like, yeah, still it was like normal for people to reach out by phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8-9 years ago.
So I can't remember how many calls I got, but then this lady called me and she lived in a shed.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, I'm such and such, I'm here. She was a backpacker as well.
Right.
And she made coffee.
Aussie?
No. She was a backpacker, Don.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
English, was she?
No. She wasn't English. Can't remember where she was from. But she was like, do you know what? It actually suits around the hours of when I'm in the coffee shop.
Okay.
But she gave me a really reasonable deal.
Yeah.
So I think I paid her an hour worth of my wages to get me there and an hour to pick me up. Bearing in mind it was taking her an hour because it was half an hour there, half an hour back.
Yeah.
So I was paying her what I was making.
Bit of petrol. Maybe. You could say you're paying for her contributing to the diesel or the petrol, like, you know what I mean? If she's dropping you there.
Yeah.
You can justify it with that. It's fair.
She made a very fair deal.
Yeah.
And she was really nice. And when we met, the first time she was dropping me, we met in a car park. And she was like, I was really nervous in case you weren't who you said you were. I was like, I was really nervous. You won't believe what happened to me.
Yeah.
And then we bonded and we're still friends on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she brought me, I think, every day for, was it maybe 3 or 4 weeks? And then there was a big storm. And we went into work one day and they were like, there's no more macadamia nuts. Gone. You're all gone. Goodbye.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah. But that's kind of the end of that story.
Okay. I just have a question. What was the process of picking the macadamia nuts?
So they come out on a line. So macadamia nuts are actually picked up by a machine. And then they come out on a line, similar to... It's like a big combine harvester.
Well, you never had to work out in the... Did you start off working out picking them?
No one did.
Oh, no one did? Okay.
Because they need to be picked so fast. I think it's only worth it if a machine does it. And then you grade them and pick off the really bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's it. But like if the machine breaks, you have to get out a little...
So you're at a conveyor then, like picking them out?
You'll know the name of this. You know the little fizzy thing that takes out the screws?
Jeez, some pressure here.
Screws.
Fizzy.
Bzzz.
Screw one.
Something that takes out the screws. Screwdriver.
Yeah, screwdriver.
But it's electric.
Yeah, screw gun.
Yeah, I'd have to use them.
Oh. For what?
So sometimes you'd have to take apart the machine if something got stuck in it.
Oh, there'd be nuts getting stuck in it and that, would there?
Well, no, rats and snakes and things.
Jesus Christ.
Because obviously they were being picked up by a machine, so the machine would pick up whatever.
Yeah.
Like under a certain size, and sometimes snakes, rats, it was vile work. You were wearing big gloves, and it all normalised, like everything normalised. The phone call that I got with the Fun Favours never normalised.
Okay.
But everything else did.
Have you heard that term been used since?
Never.
Or before?
Fun Favours. Like it
Once in your life.
It wouldn't have been fun. That was never going to be fun.
Oh my God.
But then it worked out so happy that I made this lovely connection with that lovely lady.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name or where she was from, but she was lovely.
Yeah.
And it was like women helping women. So the moral of the story is thank God for women.
Yeah. Absolutely. And thank God that you hung up on Mr. Fan Favours. The crazy thing about that is as well, is that would be his tactic every time. He's scouring Gumtree
Probably,
Looking
yeah.
for backpackers.
Are looking for people that need help.
Yeah, vulnerable people, vulnerable women.
It was really, really scary. And
Yeah.
obviously if it happened now, you'd deal with it completely different. But I got such fright. And in my mind at the time, I was like, what if he can track my phone? Like, obviously this man probably didn't even have a birth cert. Like, when you look back. But I was like, what if he can track my phone? What if he can find me? Like, it really, really scared me.
Oh my God.
On Favours.
Now, did you get your second year visa in the end?
Didn't get all my days done there. So then I had to go to a third farm that was in Shepperton. In
Victoria?
Yeah, Victoria.
No, I wasn't there.
You were never there. So I'm horsey. I'm horsey. I grew up around horses.
Okay, right.
So this was working as a groom for a show jumper. Yeah. And on the land, there was maybe 40 horses, but you had to go on like a quad bike because there was so much.
That's pretty much a dream job for people who are horsey.
That's what I thought. But then when I got there, it turns out, so he would be away for a lot of the time. So you'd be there on your own. So his main groom would go with him. So you'd be there on your own in the middle of absolutely nowhere. As in, if you needed to call the police, it was actually quicker to call a neighbour. Like, the nearest neighbour would be miles away.
Yeah.
But like, he'd say, oh, if you ever need to call the police, just call the neighbour because they'll be here faster because of the pure distance thing. And like, they didn't have fire stations because it was so in the middle of nowhere. So the residents of the huge area were trained in fire because there was no point because the firemen.
So basically, it's a community policed community
because it's
service.
So in the middle of nowhere.
All the services are provided by the community.
Like, I think the police would come, but you'd be better off calling a neighbour.
Maybe they trained them, would they? Would the police and the fire service train the people?
I wasn't taking my luck.
No.
But so when I got there, the man said it, and he was like, just so you know, like, someone did try and call to the house a couple of weeks ago. There's something real dodgy about him. So like, if someone calls to the door, like, there's something weird, just don't let him in. And I was like, right, brilliant.
Right, that's quite terrifying.
Yeah, so then I'd spend I think the longest I was there on my own was maybe 4 days in that house. Now, there was a dog. But I'm
a big dog?
Not really a big dog. He was an Australian, are they called dingoes? Not a dingo. He was some Australian dog.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life.
Well, he wasn't an aggressive guard dog.
No,
right.
And there was mice in the house.
Which is what you'd want in that scenario to feel safe.
So it was, all in all, it was one of the most, doing the farm work was the most hardest.
Mentally
so hard. I either underate or overate. Everything went to pot.
Right.
I was either bawling my eyes out or laughing hysterically because nothing that's normal. You didn't have any of your normal things.
Yeah.
There was no Wi-Fi. This sounds so spoiled and stuff. There was no Wi-Fi. You can't just sit down and watch TV. All you did was work. And it was very incredibly, the last farm was incredibly lonely. I've never known, not seeing another person for 4 days.
Well, I mean, even being on a farm like that in Australia, you're solo traveling, right?
Yeah.
You're solo traveling, you're actually away from your family as well.
Yeah.
And then also you're in the middle of nowhere in Australia on your own. That's a triple.
Yeah.
That's hardship. Because I actually spoke to Justine.
Yeah.
She was on the podcast a while ago. Brilliant.
What podcast?
This one.
Oh, right. Okay.
What's it called?
Don't know. The End of the Road?
That would be a great name for it. I live on the end of the road.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The End of the Road.
Jesus. Not cutting that out.
No.
She was highlighting I don't have to worry about, if I go solo travelling, I don't have to worry about anything.
God, now you're
I'm a
fine.
man, and I can, nobody's gonna, I don't have to feel like that,
Yeah, no, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, travelling as a woman solo.
I was reading recently, the way women love true crime?
Yeah.
And men love World War II, documentaries, films, all this kind of stuff. Because men can connect with the fact that if they'd been around, then they probably would have gone to war. But the true crime thing with women is that we're always thinking things are going to happen to us.
Oh,
So
right.
that's why we love true crime.
So like subconsciously you think it might be, what would I do in that situation?
Yeah.
Oh. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I probably didn't explain it very well.
No, it makes sense. It's you kind of putting yourself in that scenario.
Yeah.
You know?
But the true crime is stuff we'd have to kind of worry about, as in she went for a walk, she was never seen. That'd be us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're literally being asked for fan favours in Australia.
Fan favours. So yeah, then finally got my sent in the visa. I thought I had 88 days. And then they sent it back a couple of months later and they were like, you've only done 87.
Oh my God.
So after all these forms, getting through, like feeling like I scraped through barely alive. It was like, no, you're 1 day short for the second year visa.
Oh my God.
I know. So
then they denied it to you then?
I was denied the first time and then I had to go to a visa agent person. Like, it's all a money thing.
It is, yeah.
And then she was able to sort it out.
Yeah. Whereas I think I did about 4 or 5 days on the tomato farm. Then I did like a month in the Heritage Hotel in Rockhampton.
What were you doing there?
Maintenance man.
Ah, did you like that?
Yeah. I got fell out with the manager then and I left, and then my friend Ryan Giles, who's a musician, he's like someone that I still talk to today.
Yeah.
You know when you just meet someone and it's like, I know we're gonna talk forever. Like.
And had you met him over there?
I met him. He was the musician in that hotel.
Okay.
And we used to party so much. It was.
Yeah.
He'd be on. We both. So the way that hotel worked, hotels are a different thing in Australia, especially in the rural places.
What are they called again?
Well, it's a hotel, but this one had like
a hotel.
Hotel. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Hotel.
Go on.
In Irish, it's Ostan.
Nice. Well done.
Thanks.
Nice.
Thanks very much. Jess, I never thought I'd be able to use that. Learned it in school.
What's in your pencil case?
I actually have a pencil case out there.
Come on.
Just markers.
Yeah.
And pens.
So you worked in the hotel?
Worked in a hotel as the maintenance man, but so the chef and the musician and the head barman, we all stayed in rooms on the top floor. There's 3 floors. Middle floor was a nightclub and a big smoking area, and the bottom floor was a pub and restaurant.
Yeah.
So I was the maintenance man for that.
Nice.
So every Friday, Ryan would arrive for the weekend. He was the resident musician.
Was he Aussie?
Yeah.
You made an Australian friend.
Yeah, and then he'd play the music. I'd get drunk. And
would you dance?
Ah, yeah.
And how was your local women over there?
Oh, that's. Actually, I have a story about that I told on the End of the Road podcast a while ago.
What podcast is that?
This one, according to you.
Okay, yeah.
You look at women over there, again, not great. Well, one night I knew the head barman, so he'd be giving me free rum and coke, and they're so delicious, the sweet rum with coke.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, drank too many of them. Long story short, I woke up the next morning with a phone number on my pillow saying, call me. And I didn't remember a thing. Yeah. So I texted this. It was just basic text then. There was no WhatsApp. I didn't have any way of getting a picture of this woman. And I organised a date for that night. Lovely. I was so hungover. Yeah. But just excited to meet this woman.
Yeah, your new friend.
Yeah. So, you know, you had your little boyfriend. I thought I could have my little girlfriend.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. It's not the same when you say it about women. It's fine to say.
My big girlfriend.
No, just stop. Your girlfriend.
Girlfriend, yeah, right. Yeah. You're right, it's not the same.
No, it sounds awful.
So I organised a date back in the downstairs. I lived on the 3rd floor.
So you went all out.
Took the number, made a date.
Hey, big spender, you were bringing her back to the scene of the crime.
Put on my shirt. The whole lot.
Yeah.
Got all jazzed up. Gel in the hair. The whole lot. A couple of sprays of aftershave.
What were you wearing, do you think?
I would have been wearing, I think at that time I was going jeans, black t-shirt. Cool, very hot place, you know? Yeah. Jeans and a black t-shirt. What do you think of that?
What about what was covering the dogs?
What?
What was covering your dogs?
What
Your
those?
feet.
Oh, it's a pair of slick enough. I think I had a pair of winkle pickers.
What are they?
Dancing shoes, like, with the pointy toes.
Nice.
Brown, shiny.
Yeah, so the women were in the palm of your hand with an
Yeah.
outfit like that.
Yeah.
So down you went to meet.
Down I went to meet her. Yeah, I knew the chef, I knew the head barman, but the staff changed over at like
Of course.
5 o'clock. You know?
Oh right, okay.
So the new staff were in, and I was asking them what happened. I went down early on that day. I could barely move with the hangover, but I went down that afternoon to get food.
So you weren't working that day?
No, it was a Saturday now. I was off.
Okay.
So none of them knew. I was like, did you see me last night down
Yeah.
here? And they were like, mate, didn't say a
So were
bloody
you
thing.
trying to piece things together?
Yeah. I was trying to piece things together, but I'd already organised the day.
Oh no.
So eventually I'm there at 5 o'clock. I remember that day, it's a weird thing to remember, but the chef gave me a pizza with steak on it.
Was it nice?
Yeah.
Cool.
But he just fucked it together, you know, but it's just obviously what he had
Please
left.
don't swear on my podcast.
I'll bleep it out.
It's not appropriate.
I know. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry, anyone?
So
but go on. So he gave you...
yeah, and then 5 o'clock, the nighttime barman came in.
Yeah.
And the staff and the security man came in, and he knew. His name was Graham, I think. He was a bald fella. He came in and he was like, he saw me and he was just like this.
Oh no!
He goes, mate. I was like, what, man? I had the fear of God as well.
Yeah.
And then I went into the bar, and he's like, mate, don't worry about it, mate. These things happen. I was like, what? I'm telling you, mate. He's like, oh. And then I went into the bar, and the barman was like, bloody hell, mate. Mate, you were dancing around there last night. You're out on the dance. It wasn't even a dance floor. He's like, you're waltzing around the place with this old lady.
Yeah.
Old lady, he says.
No.
I was like, Jesus Christ, and the time is ticking by here towards the day.
So what time is she coming at?
8 o'clock.
And what time are we at now?
You're looking at 7 and time is going quick, and I'm drinking pints with the chef. He's finished.
Yeah. Pints of vodka, I'd say.
Yeah, and then it gets about half 8 and there's no sign of her.
Yeah.
No sign of her.
So you're like, right, I'm off.
I'm like, grand, right?
Yeah.
And then I get a tip on the shoulder. And looked around, I couldn't see anyone.
Right, okay.
Then I had to look down. She was very small.
Yeah.
But very broad.
Right.
Very old and broad and small. And
So what age were you at the time?
23.
20. Oh, you real baby.
Yeah.
Okay, and what age do you think roughly this lady was?
She'd been in her 50s.
Okay.
I'd say at least. She goes, I turned around and she goes, what did she say to me again? It was some phrase. She was like, fan favours? No, I'm only joking. Terrible trying to be funny and call back to her thing there.
What did she say?
She goes, oh yeah. She literally goes, remember me?
Real like, oh.
Remember me? And then I was like, no, I don't remember you. I was so nervous. I was shaking and everything. I couldn't handle this. And she's like, remember me? And I was like, no, I don't remember you. I remember she had a big bushy head of black hair. You know, I didn't remember a thing. But then she goes, I had a couple more points. Oh, the chef and everyone was laughing their head off at me. Like, they're all laughing.
Say they were having a great old
She was
time.
outside sitting with a couple of her old mates, you know. And she was a little gang of them. I remember them. They're all looking in at me. I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I lived there.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you not have gone to bed?
So she knew where my room was.
Okay, right, okay.
But not that she'd come up, but yeah, I was having the crack then with
the lads.
Yeah.
So the date didn't happen.
This was the day. I'm standing at the bar and she taps me on the shoulder. Yeah. She goes, are you keen? Oh no, she goes, remember me? And then later on, I had a few on me then.
Yeah.
And she came back over then. She must have seen me. I'd have a certain head on me when I'm drunk, you know. Kind of. I'd start smiling and stuff.
Yeah.
And she goes, are you still keen?
It's a good one, isn't it? Are you
still keen? Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like her style.
It's just she didn't give it an F.
Yeah.
So
and were you keen?
No,
No.
I wasn't. But then that wasn't the end of it. The next morning I woke up and she had texted me
Yeah.
and she was like, do you want me to come around here? She says, I'm leaving town. She was from a different place.
Oh no.
She was there for the weekend.
It's like The Notebook.
She wanted to...
It's so romantic. She was leaving town.
Yeah.
Or Dear John. But obviously roles reversed. She's John. And you're Amanda Seyfried's character.
I'll have to watch that.
Oh no, actually. Yeah.
So yes.
She was leaving town.
And she's like, do you want to have one last tryst?
Did she say tryst?
No, but that was the gist of it.
And what did you say?
One last hurrah. Even though I don't remember the other one.
Yeah.
I said, no, thanks. And then she goes, I'm in McDonald's. I can bring you McDonald's as well.
So what did you say then?
I still said no. I did.
Did you?
Yeah. I had to. I go to McDonald's myself.
And do you think you're in love with her?
What is love, you know?
I think what you and her had was pretty special.
Yeah. Maybe I should have got her to
Of
come back over.
all the pubs in all of Australia, she had to walk into yours.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I
romantic.
waltzed her around. Can you imagine what it was like for her?
Yeah,
I was waltzing her around the dance
I can
spot.
imagine you felt like a little princess.
Waltzing her around the pub with my winkle pickers. I was light on my feet, you see,
Waltzing
back then.
Matilda.
I was, yeah. Waltzing Matilda. Yeah.
How
Exactly.
amazing.
I know, isn't it
I'm
nice?
thrilled that you got to experience that.
Yeah. Yeah. Spinning around like Kylie Minogue. Yeah. She was probably like, what the hell? Why is he so different tonight?
Yeah.
Because I think I'm a pretty alright when I'm drunk. I don't like, me face kind of stays the same and I don't act too much different, like outwardly, but inside I'm blank.
I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know any other people like that? You would look at them and be like, they're still sober.
Yeah, no, I look very drunk.
Yeah, would you see? I don't get that, so it fools people. So, yeah, all right. Look, I just want to know the last thing. You got your second year.
Yeah.
Where did you spend your first year?
First year was in Melbourne.
And then you did your farm work, got your tokens or whatever you call it.
Then did a good bit of the second year in Melbourne as well, and then went to Sydney at the end. And I loved Sydney. If I'd went to Sydney first, I never would have left.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it about that place?
I just loved it. I loved Sydney.
Did you find nice people there?
Found nice people there.
It's important, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd been in a really close group in Melbourne, and everyone had dispersed, as always happens when you're travelling. So then I'd say my last 6-7 months in Melbourne, I was trying to recreate the first 6-7 months.
Okay.
It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Sydney, I was like, this is the best place ever.
And how long did you have there?
I think I only had maybe 4 months there in the end.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're heartbroken.
I was bawled my eyes out.
Oh.
But I hadn't gone home in the 2 years, and also I went from Sydney to Chicago. So I was going to Chicago for the summer. So like I was excited to go to Chicago, but also like so sad leaving Sydney.
Have you been back in Sydney since?
No, too poor.
Someday.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah.
No money.
No money. You'll get back there someday.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right. Well, that was a great. You got straight into it. Told the story well.
Yeah.
No messing. Great chat.
Straight in, no kissing.
Straight in, no kissing. Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on. All right. So, thank you very much for doing this, Taran.
Thank you, Dan.
It's been great to have you on. I might get you back sometime.
Yes, please.
If you'd like to. I hope you've enjoyed telling your story. And yeah, this has been The Truth Is In There podcast. Possibly soon to be the End of the Road podcast. But that does sound a little bit dark as well.
There's a bit of a catch.
So welcome to the end of the road.
And you're about to croak, so here's your last podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, this has been a great episode. I'm Dan Stevens. DanStevens.comedy on Instagram. What's your details?
Taran O'Sullivan 7 on Instagram.
Yeah, and Taran does stand up all around the country and she's brilliant. I'd highly recommend checking her out and going to see her. Give her a follow on Instagram. The Truth Is In There podcast is the Instagram page. Please support the podcast on the Buy Me a Coffee link in the episode description. Thanks to everybody who has so far. And yes, I will see you and talk to you again soon. Goodbye.